Most people don't believe in monsters, but they're real. When someone finds out monsters are real, it's usually just before they get eaten. But some people are mean enough, smart enough, crazy enough, or hurt enough, and they live. And some of those survivors go on a crusade against the monsters. That is you. And this is Monster of the Week.
Finny and DG lead the way. New RPG systems every day. Dice roll, quick adventure calls. Walking through tabletops, golden halls. Masters of pen and paper. RPGs of every flavor. Talking about different creators. The choice of games is never greater. Come with us to games they run through. New, old, and interesting. Thank you all for listening.
Welcome to the show, episode 22, Masters of Pen and Paper, with your hosts, Finny and my main man,
DG. How is everybody doing? I am really excited to run through this game because this one's an interesting one, Finny. This one's kind of got a little bit of fun going on in there.
Yeah, this one's a little different from anything we've covered so far, which I know we say that quite often.
We say it all the time, but I mean, it kind of touches on a little bit of like everything.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I like the format of the game, and I really like the theme too. The concept of the game, very cool.
I like the theme as well. It's very, very cool, on point. Written by Michael Sands with 2 S's, and was originally funded and released via Indiegogo.
Yep.
Of all things.
Yeah, Indiegogo, the predecessor to Kickstarter. Like,
yeah.
I haven't seen that name in a long time.
No. And this was back in 2012.
2012.
So this was probably nearing the end of the Indiegogo.
I think so. Yeah.
Go-go.
The go-go. Indiegogo had to go-go.
And in this, of course, now, asterisks here.
Here's a precursor.
The 2012 version of this game is the one that we are covering today.
Yeah, the OG.
There was a kind of rehash of it, and he added some monsters, some classes, and cleaned up a little bit of here and there.
Yeah.
It's basically the same game still.
A little more streamlined.
A little more streamlined. So, in 2015, he partnered with Evil Hat Productions, who has produced it ever since. And Evil Hat Productions is a very cool kind of indie-friendly company that produces a whole bunch of indie TTRPGs, among other things. And I've actually gotten a few things from them, and they're great, awesome producers. Sands says that his inspiration for Monster of the Week are TV shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, X-Files, and Supernatural, among others.
Classic shows. Love them.
Yeah, very, very, very niche.
Yep.
As well. The typical kind of one bad guy per week kind of shows, right?
And that's what I like that about this game, where there isn't really a big bad evil guy. There's like each week you're hitting the reset button, because we're not like starting over like you're going back to level 1, but we're starting over like that story has ended and now it's time for a new story, and then that story's ended and now it's time for a new story.
This game feels very episodic like that. You got at the beginning of the episode, you got your GM lays out what's happening, your group, and you go do the thing. And then by the end of the session, you've completed this thing and you finished up your episode.
Yeah. I really like that. It's a cool idea.
He has also cited such TTRPGs as Call of Cthulhu, Trial of Cthulhu, and Dungeon World, among others. Now, of course, are some of the games that we have.
Yeah, we've gone through a couple of these ones.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's really cool about the TTRPG hobby in general, is the deeper you get into it, the more you see of game designers pulling from here and there and getting inspiration from all sorts of these games that you've already become familiar with.
Yeah, it's almost like looking at a family tree, like the RPG family tree where you've got different lines going to different games. And this game was created because of the following games, and it just kind of keeps cascading and flowing out, which is really cool because a lot of the times I think that these people, these game designers, are taking the best of these systems and smashing them together into a brand new system, which I mean, obviously has to work somehow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's got some merit to it, no matter how you say it. The illustrations in this book come to us via Daniel Gorange. Now, that is a Daniel. Of course. Last name Gorange, Gorringe. And I had a really tough time tracking down this guy as to what he does. He is a freelance artist.
Okay.
Which means he doesn't put himself out there very much.
Sure.
You have to get a hold of him. And,
yeah, you find his portfolio and you hire him.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Now, do yourself a favor and Google that. Now, you will, of course, Google being Google, you'll get the Australian football player, Daniel Gorange.
Okay.
That is not what we want. We want the artist.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, Daniel Gorange, the artist, might play football, but he is not the Australian football professional.
That is correct.
That's a different Daniel Gorange.
I believe.
we're like 90% sure on that.
Yeah,
no, we're not. I won't give you the 100%. I'll give you like mostly correct, but I guess it is possible that he gave up art and took up a life of football.
Exactly. He's got a really interesting style, and it's kind of like that goopy 60s, 70s like TTRPG, but the monster version of it.
You have a sip of tea and you start seeing colors and the walls melting.
Exactly. That kind of stuff. Yeah.
It would be worth a Google of this person's name to go and check out their art.
Yeah. Because we love art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 100%.
We're fans of it.
Yeah. I dig art big time.
Yeah. And that's all I got on the origins.
I mean, that's really says quite a bit, right? Like, I mean, you have a dude who likes these games. He he's playing Call of Cthulhu, he's playing Dungeon World, all these other things. And he goes, you know what? This would be really cool if I could mash my love for these Monster of the Week type TV shows with these games that I love. And boom, here we are. Monster of the Week is created just like that, right?
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
I love it. I love the concept of it. I think that it is time, Finn, that we should jump into, lift the hood and take a little peeky poo under there to see what makes this whole thing tick. Because I know that since the idea of this being, Call of Cthulhu, Dungeon World, and I know that he acknowledges Apocalypse World as part of this too, that we're not using a D20 in this game. I can tell you that much.
No, we aren't. So this game is based on Apocalypse World by Vincent Baker. Now, this will be coming down the line. Don't worry.
Yep.
If you don't know anything about the Apocalypse World, that's fine.
Hey, just hang tight.
We don't either.
That one's coming. We got that.
Yeah. And this is a 2d6 system.
Yep.
So that's right. You heard that right.
No
2d6.
No D20. We're just running on those D6. Time to raid the Monopoly game or your Yahtzee. Go and get those games out of the cupboard, blow the dust off the box, and grab those 2D6. We're going to need them.
Grab the trouble popper and pop it twice.
Yeah, exactly. You just use the popper. Actually, that would make for a fun game anyways, right?
That
would, a little bit on the distracting side, but it would still be fun to play it.
It would. And we have the Keeper of Monsters and Mysteries, which is our GM. And they don't need any dice at all.
I wonder what game he got the title for that out of.
I wonder what game we covered previously that has Keeper in its name.
Keeper.
It couldn't be the Keeper of Arcane Lore from Call of Cthulhu.
That's right. And every time we hear that, we gotta put that effect as the Keeper of Monsters and Mysteries.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's this epic. Like I said, I know I said it in our Call of Cthulhu episode, but I need like a title placard that says says, keeper of arcane lore.
nameplate.
Yeah, and it's got lightning bolts on it, and it maybe like it lights up too, like that.
Yeah.
That is an epic. This isn't just a GM, okay? This is
No,
the keeper of monsters and mysteries, and I think that's really
Yeah. I love it.
love it.
So basically, in a nutshell, we roll 2d6, add a modifier or two. It is a positive or a negative.
Yep.
6 or less is a fail. 7 to 9 is a partial success. Typically, it's you succeed, but you also get a consequence with it.
Makes sense.
And a 10 plus is a bounding success.
Yeah, that's a
essentially
full-fledged.
Yeah.
Full-fledged success. You're happy. If you see 10 plus on those dice, you're gonna have a great day.
You're gonna have a good day.
Yeah, absolutely.
We won't because we never roll that high, but
Yeah.
that's that.
And and it should be noted that, on a 6 or less with it being a fail, things don't just fail in Monster of the Week, right? Things are always happening. There's always things happening, and it's very likely that the mystery of the story is going to push forward because of the fail on that roll. So something's going to happen.
I am a huge fan of failing forward. And I try to incorporate that into my games as I GM them as well. And this has it baked into it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're not going to get punished necessarily.
No. But you get punished.
But something's going to happen.
Still roll forward.
Something's going on in the background there.
That's right. We have a group of players who are called hunters. They make up a team of monster hunters.
Yeah.
You go in, you figure out what's going on, you get the bad guy, take it out. Ta-da!
Bam, done. You got your Scooby-Doo the mystery crew,
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got the Blade and his Winchester.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds, exactly. Can't remember his name, but gosh darn that actor.
Exactly. This is you and your crew going in to take down whatever bad thing is threatening the city, the people, the whatever,
the town, the village, the campsite.
Something's happening, and your crew is rolling in to take care of it.
Exactly. The keeper, of course, is responsible for the baddies of the mystery. Baddies and the mystery.
Right.
Because there's a mystery that you have to solve to figure out what the bad guy is.
Yeah,
you can hunt it.
The keeper of monsters and mysteries is in charge of the monsters and the mysteries.
One would think that they would keep that to themselves.
That's
and not
right.
just blurt it out. Yeah.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. And literally the concept of the game here is as it is titled. Each week there's a new monster. The hunters are going to head out. They're going to try and solve that monster and save the day. And something that I really liked about the keeper, on page 82 of the book, and we're going to skip around a little bit here, but down in the GM section on page 82, there's a list of 12 principles that outline the specifics of how to be a keeper. And this is the list to kind of help you build your mystery. So we'll get into that later, but I thought that was really cool to point out that this isn't one of those games that assumes you knows what you're doing, This game is like, listen, here's your role as the keeper, and don't worry, I got you. Here's how we're going to build it. And from here on, this is what you need to do in order to make sure that this is a success.
Yeah. I do like that about this book. This book takes you by the hand and explains how to go about building your mystery.
Exactly. How
to go about putting your hooks in and getting that to communicated to your players. There are 9 types of hunters in this edition.
Yes, yeah, the June 2012. That's right, the June 2012 edition. There are 9 types of hunters. There are more hunters in the future editions. But in this one, there's 9.
There are also third-party hunters.
That's right.
There's third-party,
there's
all
lots
sorts
out
of things.
There. Yeah, the game is really good as far as it goes for community supported. There's a lot.
Yes.
People like this game, and I get it. I understand.
I can see why it is liked, because it fits that power scaling kind of thing, right? Where you roll into town, you might get a little bummed up, but hey, you're going to take down a werewolf.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to take down a werewolf? Each hunter has its own handbook.
Yes.
And these playbooks are made up of various archetypes, which easily, like, these classes are very much from the TV shows. Like, pick them out. Done. For instance, we have The Chosen, which is your Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right?
Yeah, you were gifted.
You were born and gifted
and
with
there's some
the ability to slay.
Exactly. You have a destiny. You're the chosen one.
Exactly. The chosen one, right?
That's right. Yes, exactly.
You have the Expert, which is your Bobby Singer from Supernatural, your Winchester from Blade.
Yep.
They know monsters.
They're the ones who are the smart guy.
They are the smart guy, the guy that knows the ins and outs of how the monsters think and do things. You have the Flake, which is the more of a conspiracy theorist and all-around believer of the supernatural, which is your Fox Mulder from X-Files.
Yep.
You have the Initiate, which is, I'm going to butcher this and nobody will know who I'm talking about, but Ardith Bay from The Mummy. Now that is the sect. They are trying to protect everyone in the world from the Mummy. You know, those guys, they come in with the horses, they wear the black.
They're part of an ancient crew that's been around forever. They're an
ancient sect of warriors.
They may be so far, if I should be so bold as to say, they may be members of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Ooh.
But these are the members of like those ancient groups. Once upon a time there was a monster slaying crew. This is your Castlevania. These are the Belmonts.
These are the Belmonts.
Right?
Yes. We have the Monstrous, which is your Blade, your Hellboy, the monsters that fight on the side of good.
That's right.
You have the Mundane, which is your Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
He's just a dude.
A guy.
You're just a dude.
And unfortunately, you got sucked into doing this.
Yeah.
Wow, Scoob.
You're the good one, Raggy. These are the just normal run-of-the-mill everyday people, but they're also good at dealing with other normal everyday run-of-the-mill people. So they have a role here. While they may be called the Mundane, they are not a boring class to play.
We have the Professional, which is your Dana Scully from the X-Files, the corporate Overwatcher. You have the Spooky, which is your Sam Winchester. They got some sort of magic powers. They're kind of a little bit weird out there, it's that kind of stuff. And then we have the Wronged, and this is your Dean Winchester from Supernatural. And
right.
This is the person that has been hurt by monsters the most, and they have swore vengeance on them.
Yeah, they're coming for you. This is your Avenger class. Right. On page 5 of the book, too, it does mention that there's some limited edition Hunter playbooks. It specifically mentions the Divine, the Hard Case, the Snoop, and the Summoned. They were at one point fundraiser rewards. As well, there are fan-made playbooks as well that are out there, like we mentioned. And then finally, it says that you can find advice on making your own playbook on page 187 of this book as well. So it gives you these archetypes, but if you're somebody that's like, you know what, I don't really think my character fits in here, you can build it yourself, or somebody may have already done so for you, in which case you just go and check out the community and away you go.
I love games that do this. I love games that are like, here's the game. At the end, hey, come over here. Let me tell you something. If you want, you can hack this game.
Yep.
You can make your own class. You can do whatever you want with it. I'll show you how to do it. Here, right here.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Something to mention here, since we're talking about the archetypes and the classes here, on that same page 5, it does specifically state that only one hunter of each type is allowed at the same time in any game, because you're not just one of the chosen, you are the chosen, right? So
yes, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, the idea with the book here is that the handbook actually comes out of the book, and you hand the player that handbook, right? Like that is their. If they choose the chosen,
that is the character.
You're the chosen. Here's your handbook, and away you go, right? So that's kind of the concept.
You are the only monstrous. You are the only chosen.
Correct.
You are the only wronged. You are the only flake.
Yeah.
Right?
It says there may be a whole agency of professional monster hunters, but there is just one who is the professional. So
that's right.
Something to keep in mind as you run through the game. If everyone's like, no, I'm Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you might have to flip a coin or roll for it or something like that, because not everybody can be Buffy Slayer.
Not everybody can be Buffy. Very few people can
Very
be Buffy.
Very few people can be Buffy.
Once you pick your playbook, you start the character creation process.
Yes.
Now, it's about 5 pages per handbook, so it's not very
it's not a
long
lot
to do.
And it's going to walk you through the creation of your character. So
step by
step. We're going to start at the top. We'll work our way all the way to the bottom. And by the end of this, we will have a character sheet and a character itself.
So first off, we do ability ratings. Now, we have 5 abilities in here. Now, these are not your typical strength, dex, charisma stuff.
No, we're going way off the beaten path
We
here.
switched it up, and I like this. I like it. So we have charm, which, okay, charisma, very much.
Yep.
Okay.
Pleasant
no
and
problem.
persuasive.
It's how persuasive how you can talk to people, right?
Yep, makes sense.
Cool. How calm and collected you are.
Still makes sense.
Sharp. How observant you are.
Not as in like a knife. This is, I have sharp vision, not I have a sharp weapon.
We have tough. How strong and mean are you in a fight?
Yep.
And then we have weird, which is how weird are you?
Yeah, exactly.
It's your attunement to the supernatural.
Right. And this is when you use magic. That's what this one's
This is
for.
when you yes.
This is your magic. This is your wisdom check if you're D&D-ing.
But these are your ability stats or
right.
your abilities. There's no strength unless you can count tough, but tough is like a strength, con, and dex all in one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sharp is your perception only.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's cool. I like it.
Very cool.
It's fresh.
Agreed.
It's fresh. Now, each playbook will have you select from an array of ranging from -1 to +3. The books, from what I could see, I didn't see any threes in any of the character classes. No, so the 3s are when you level
That's
up.
progression.
Unquote.
That's progression.
Yes.
Yeah. But it does tell you typically gives you a table, and it's like, hey, pick one of these sets. And it's an array. It'll give you, is your charm, your cool, your sharp, your tough, your weird, and then a modifier for each one of these stats. And you choose one of those before you move on.
One will be at -1.
Yep.
A couple will be at +1.
Yeah.
One will be at 0. One will be at +2, right?
What kind of character do you plan on playing?
What kind of chosen are you?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a really weird chosen, or are you a very sharp chosen? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Next up, we pick a fate.
Mm-hmm. The way I understand fates is that the fate is essentially what is in store for you. What's coming? Like, why are you here kind of thing, right? And so as we work our way through the workbook, the fate section is essentially going to tell us about how we found out about our fate.
You get to decide what sort of fate is in store for you.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What does the end of the line look like?
Yeah, and you pick out how you found out about the fate that you are going towards.
Yep.
And this can be in nightmares and visions, or you found a prophecy, or you were sought out by your nemesis.
Yep.
Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we pick 2 heroic and 2 doom tags. Now these tags are just like
Flavor.
descriptors. Yeah.
Yeah, this is flavor.
And then the list, and these are things like you are the champion, you can save the world, stuff like that.
Yep.
And the doom ones are, but you can't save everyone, or you have damnation at the end of it all.
Exactly. Yeah, this is your kind of filling out some of your backstory a little bit, right? This is your background stuff.
Yeah.
And so like a sample of how this could work out, right, is that, your fate is that you are destined to take down the overlord of these monsters that are coming into the city, right? And you found out about that fate because you were once attacked by these monsters. And then you selected some tags and you had visions of it. You had some divine help with it. There is an impossible love and there is treachery involved. And your keeper will then take all of this stuff of your character and potentially use it to push the story forward. As well, if you mark off a point of luck, which is something we'll get to a little bit later, the keeper will typically throw something from your fate at you using the stuff that you selected here. So the concept here is building out the backstory of your character and ensuring that there is a pretty hefty plot point all throughout the game for your keeper to constantly be plucking from, essentially.
Yeah, it's something for your keeper to draw and to keep you invested in the game. That's right.
Yeah.
Because God knows we need more investing into games.
Yeah, I mean your character needs purpose, and then your keeper needs ammunition to bulk the mystery up. So this is one of those holistic things that covers everything.
Then after all that, you get all of the basic moves.
We're gonna get some moves.
These are on page 9 and 59 for the details of these. And your moves, the basic moves are like act under pressure. And this is like defusing a bomb or doing something during a high-speed chase. Mm-hmm. You have help out, which is helping another hunter on their move. This is giving them a little bonus. Mm-hmm. Investigate a mystery. Now this is this is out of combat, like a downtime kind of thing where...
These are your Scooby-Doo moments.
You're figuring out lore and putting the clues together to figure out what's going on here. We got some kick some ass. Sorry, people that are listening.
That's what it's called in the book. That's literally the title.
And this is your combat rolls. Not combat rolls, but you're rolling the dice for combat.
That's essentially how fights happen in this game.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It's...
We'll get it.
Fun.
There's some specifics to it.
There's a lot going on.
There's a little bit going on.
We got manipulate someone, and this is like manipulating
literally
someone.
That. Yep.
Protect someone.
Again,
protecting someone. Read a bad situation. There's that's under threat, and that you need an answer fast. Yeah. So if you are, say, looking for the ways out of the burning room, right? Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Yeah, you're having some pressure. Some pressures are being applied, and you need to get out of there.
Then we have use magic, and this is... We'll get to some magic specific playbooks later, because there's not everybody gets to use magic.
Correct. Yeah.
Asterisks, because it's also rolled for using magical artifacts and special weapons.
For sure. Yeah. The magic system is interesting. But, it is. Yeah.
And then all of these rolls require a 2d6 and a modifier. And the modifier typically is told to you by keeper as to what it is.
That's right.
Depending on what you're trying to do.
Yep. And keep in mind, we're aiming for above 6, but preferably 10 plus.
Yes.
So anything 6 and below, that's a fail. Anything from 7 to 9, that is a success, and then anything 10 plus, that's the success we want. We want those 10 pluses. That's what we want to see.
Higher is always better.
Higher is always better.
You'll choose options for your haven, which are things for your safe house, essentially, where you can get work done uninterrupted, where you can rest and heal up and do some research without, getting swarmed and ambushed by enemies. Mm-hmm. There's also gear specific to your playbook, and it's flavored as such, specific to that character. This is your weapons and armor and other miscellaneous gear. And it's kind of cool because you get to design your own weapon.
Yeah,
right?
you're not Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You are the Chosen. So
yeah,
the reason why they list Buffy the Vampire Slayer is to give you an idea of like how this character plays, but you're still you. So do you want to use a special sword? Is that sword got something unique about it? You literally create it. You go through the process and you give yourself what you need.
Do you want to just swing chains on chains?
Right.
You can do that.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. It's very cool. And I like the
this.
customization. I like that the game is designed to give you the character that you've envisioned playing. You know?
And every choice that you make has an impact on the damage and the area of effect and everything for that weapon. So you can min-max a little bit, but yeah, it's very cool. I like it. At this point, you'll wait for everyone else to finish before proceeding into introducing your hunter and telling the group what they know about you.
Yeah. Yeah, because the idea is here, you've created your character, you've made all the selections, and then there's a point in the book where it basically says, okay, once you reach this point, you're going to stop. Because from this point forward, we're now no longer building an individual, we're building a group. We're all going to start working together now at this point. So it's important that we identify each other, what our character is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And after that, we go around and we connect history back and forth to our.
This was a really cool idea. I liked this a lot.
Yeah, it establishes camaraderie early on, right?
Yeah,
and it makes makes everybody feel like part of the team, because yes, you're the chosen and you do all the swinging and the heavy lifting, but me as the expert, I do all the research and tell you, hey, that's a werewolf.
Yeah.
It's weak to silver. You need to use silver.
Yep.
Okay. Ta-da.
Exactly. And the really cool thing about the histories is that you assign these bullet points that are listed in your sheet to the other hunters, and they assign bullets to you. So what we're doing is we're literally creating. So we created our character. We gave them the specifics. We envisioned them. We gave them the gear. We decided our stats. We went through all the things. Now what we're doing is, like I said, we're building as a group. So we're identifying, Finny, you and I, how do we know each other? How have we come to be in this group? Are we friendly? Are we maybe not friendly? Maybe you're a monster and I don't like monsters. Well, here's the things now that I need to deal with in order for us to work together. And these are the components that are going to help us RP while we're playing the game.
So some of the history things, just out of the chosen, I'm just looking at them right now. The history ones are like, you are close blood relations. Ask them how close you are, right? Right. You're romantically entangled or fated to become romantically entangled. Ooh, juicy. Yeah, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
They could have been the chosen instead of you, but they failed some trial. Tell them how they failed.
Right.
Like, that is cool.
And here's some for the professional. The professional says, so one of the ones I can assign to you. So I look at my list and I go, oh, I like Finny's character is going to be this one. It says, you met on a mission, worked together unofficially and successfully. Okay, well now we identify what was that mission, what we did when we worked together, and what was the success. So these are the things now that we can build as you and I as a team. And then I also take another line that says you're on the agency's watch list, or they're on the agency's watch list, and you've been keeping an eye on them. So me now, I am friends with you. We worked together before, and I lean over to you and I say, hey, Frank is on the watch list. We need to keep an eye on Frank. Right. And so now we've built this dynamic inside of our team that didn't exist before. And this is really cool. This is the level of RP. And it's just in the table. I think that's just such a cool concept in this game.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're still in character creation.
We're still in character creation. We haven't even left character creation yet. We're Millhouse creating his character in Bone Storm.
Yeah, exactly. Right. No, It's a very cool system, and I really enjoy this part of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Finally, you reach the playable part of the playbook, which is your luck. And now this is used for changing a roll to a 12.
Right.
And is for making so that you don't take any harm when damage was done to you. But once you run out of luck, you are considered doomed.
Yeah.
Which means that the creeper will start hitting you with a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah.
Like fate will be looking for some payback.
Yeah.
For some payback.
Yeah, you're gonna have a bad time. So we want that luck to kind of hover in the middle.
Yep.
I mean,
7
it's
years
there.
bad luck.
It's there if you need it. Maybe your back's against the wall and you have to use it. But do be cautious because
don't use it willy nilly.
Yeah, because if you use it all up, you're gonna have a bad day.
Harm represents your character's health. When this is full, you're considered dying.
Mm-hmm.
So the character sheet has these little boxes.
Yeah.
That you're supposed to either fill in, check X out, whatever you want, however you want to tick them.
I did see some actual character sheets. So I mean, in the book that has the thing, you use the playbook as it is. But on the website, I saw some actual character sheets. So if you're someone that wants the actual character sheets, just head over to the website. We'll have the link in the description of the podcast here to go and check it out. There's lots of resources there as well. But the character sheet specifically, I thought those were cool.
Yeah. After 4 ticks on your little box, now there are 7 ticks or 7 boxes.
Yep.
After you fill the 4th one, you are considered unstable.
Yep.
Now, unstable means that your keeper can tell you to mark off more harm as your wounds are getting worse and are eventually going to kill you. So you need to take some time.
You got to get that sorted out.
Relax, find a haven somewhere to hole up for a couple weeks. Cure yourself up. Boom, good to go.
Exactly. Yeah, and there, I think just in a little bit we're going to talk about combat and the healing is a part of that. So
we will. Yeah.
Pin this one for now.
Next up is leveling up. Leveling up and experience is tracked in this area of the book. When you roll a highlighted rating or a move that tells you to do so, you mark one of these XP boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have filled all 5 boxes, you level up.
That's
you
right.
Erase the mark, and you pick an improvement from one of the following.
Yep. Yeah, and each one of the books has their own kit of improvements. So, and it's your choice. You can pick whichever one you want. But very cool. This was a cool idea. So that means that you all might level up at the same time, but you do not all level up evenly.
That's right. Now, there are, I think 1 or 2 of these are the exact same through all of them. I believe it is take a move from another playbook.
Probably.
And gain an app.
Yeah. There's lots of that kind of stuff. There's one more thing about leveling up, and that is
the leveling up is you can improve your abilities while you're leveling up. Now, your abilities can all go up to a maximum of +3. So remember at the beginning where we were picking our array and there were no +3s there.
Yep.
You can bump up to +3.
This is where it comes in. Yeah, and you gain access to this essentially by leveling up 5 times. So when you level up 5 times, you are now qualified for advanced improvements. Those are on page 75 of the book. And this, like Finny said, you can add a +1 to anything. You can also change your hunter to a new type. So maybe the chosen's not working out for you and you wanted to switch to the wronged. Maybe that fits into the storyline. Well, this is how you do it.
Yeah. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom, just like that. And that's it for the character sheet. The character sheet now at this point has been completed and you are officially ready to play the game. A very lengthy process for the character sheet. Like, very, very involved.
Oh, yeah.
Not in a bad way. I don't mean that in a bad way. But what I mean is there's a lot going on here. And the fact that each one of these archetypes gets their own playbook, you can just tell that this was all kind of really well thought out of. And we're playing an earlier version of it. As the game goes along, these things get a little bit more streamlined as well.
They do, yes. We did forget to say that at the very, very, very beginning of character creation, after you pick your playbook, you get to pick your looks. So you get to pick if you're a man, woman, boy, girl.
Right.
Yes. If you,
your physical characteristics
look like. And it's got lists of all sorts of things. Like specifically, the chosen is you can be fresh-faced, haggard-faced, young-faced, haunted-faced, hopeful-faced, controlled-faced, and wear preppy clothes, casual wear, urban wear, normal clothes, neat clothes, or street wear.
Right.
A lot of those sound the exact same to me.
They sound similar, but yeah, I get it. I guess the other thing, you do have to select a name for your character as well.
Yes, because every great character has a great name.
Yeah, like Bob. These are like the Bob. Things that are standard of character sheets. So, but yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
I love the character creation system. Very cool.
I like the fact that it is a booklet that you tear out of the book.
That is a very, very cool idea. Yeah,
that is so cool.
I would probably print the PDF, the digital version, and hand you a printed version rather than wrecking my brand new, nice hardcover book. Yeah. But still, you could if you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. On to combat.
Yeah, the combat in the game. Now, this one was a little bit interesting to me because the game specifically tells you not to get into combat.
Yeah, because I don't know if you know this, getting hurt sucks.
Getting hurt's not fun. Yeah, it's definitely not something that you want to be doing on a regular basis.
Because if you get hurt 4 times, that means you're unstable.
You're unstable, which means you're gonna have a bad day.
You got a very bad wound that is going to get worse as the day goes on.
Exactly.
Right? So, and I don't know if you know this, but monsters are pretty strong usually.
Yeah. The combat is very interesting because, like I said, the game basically says, look, find a way to do harm to monsters without putting yourself in harm's way first. Because the concept of fighting, there is an action called kick some ass, and that's basically what then sends you right into the fray to go and fight things. The thing, though, with kick some ass, the action, is that when you do damage to a monster, they do damage back to you at the same time.
That's right.
So this is not like I attack and they miss. No. That's not how this works.
You both hit.
You're both in the midst of this.
You might miss, but the monster's going to hit.
That's right. Sorry, I shouldn't say it's an automatic hit or anything like that. But if you hit, they hit. If you miss, I believe if you miss, they miss too, but I'm not overly certain about it.
Look too closely. But yeah, it's because you're playing more or less average Joe, right?
Yep.
And average Joe is not going to stand toe to toe with a Wendigo blow for blow, right? We're not playing D&D here where you plant yourself in front of the beholder and you swing for days. Mm-hmm. It's not happening. It's not going to be fun.
No.
Now, if you were to get harmed,
yep,
you would need to heal. Now,
for sure,
that is done by 1 to 3 harm will be healed when your hunter has a chance to rest or get some medical attention.
Yeah, if you're not
visiting the ER.
Yeah, if you're not unstable, you're able to be healed. Just before we jump too heavy into healing, I guess we should also mention that combat is performed via you use the kick some ass action, but you roll your toughness score. So you roll the 2d6, you add your toughness modifier. You're aiming for above a 6.
Yes.
That's basically the concept of the fighting.
Yes. Yeah.
And so healing, very similar in kind here. You're going to heal those 1 to 3, no problem, if you're able to get out of harm's way. You gotta make sure that you're not in a fight, you're safe, you're in your safe house, wherever it is.
Yeah.
Once you get some rest or some medical attention, you can heal one at a time, as long as it's less than 4.
At 4, it's considered serious harm and needs treatment ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
If a move tells you the injury is stable, you can remove that mark, but healing for serious wounds is typically done through hunter's healing moves, time in the infirmary, a doctor or ER visit, or magic.
That's right. Yeah, there's a few different ways you can do it, but it is not easy, and I think that's kind of what the game's trying to really point you to.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, they're trying to say, hey,
don't run in and smack everything. That's not the correct answer here.
Because you're going to be down.
You're going to have a bad time.
Still ticking. If time ticks too far, the monster wins.
Exactly. Yes,
right?
exactly.
There's no as much of a TV show as this is, it is not a TV show.
For sure. The concept of the game is to build drama and tension.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
to be an all-out battle. There is going to be fights. That's why the combat rules exist. But the intention here is for you to really think hard about what it is that you're going to try and do. Because all the monsters have weaknesses. So that means you have to identify what the monster's weakness is before you can actually take the monster down, because they are stronger than humans are.
Yeah, and that is part of your lore gathering, right?
Yes.
And that's why you have all your support of your team
Exactly.
to do all of this.
I mean, and that's kind of the gist of it
That's
for the players.
combat. Yeah.
Right? Like, I
And
mean,
that player side is done.
I know we kind of skipped over a little bit. There's lots of stuff in this book, and I would recommend going through all the rules. The magic we didn't really touch on too much, but the intention here, again, you roll your 2d6, you're adding the plus weird, the modifier for weird, and it's the same concept again. You miss on a 6 or less, you kind of succeed on a 7 and 9, you very succeed on a 10 plus. There is a list of like effects and glitches and all these other things, and then there's big magic and there's all these other pieces. That's on pages 63 and 64 in the book. I'd recommend taking a look through it because there's just too much to get into the nitty-gritty of it in the podcast. But I like that they left the spells open-ended, in that the magic is just known as magic. What it actually does is up to the player.
Yeah. So what the player does is they explain to their keeper, hey, I want to do this.
This is my magic.
This is my magic.
I want to create a fireball.
Yeah. I want to fireball the Jersey Devil. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, all right. How do you do this? Well, I go Kameha, right? Okay, whatever.
Yep.
Roll your weird check and give her.
Yeah, because you're trying to, the keeper's going to ask you, what does your magic do, right? Is the magic going to do damage? Is it going to enchant something? Is it going to heal something? What is it going to do? And that's what I like about this system, is it's very open-ended. So you don't need a list of magic spells. You just simply need your imagination and to identify, what is my magic going to do? My Finny, my keeper friend just went down. I'm going to run over to him and use my magic to heal him. Okay. Now you roll a spell.
I will say we glossed over
there's a lot.
Pretty major part in character creation, and that is the moves. Yes, you get the basic moves, but you also get to pick specific moves for that class.
Yeah, your class has class-specific moves.
There is a list of moves in your playbook that tells you cool things that you can do, like the spooky can jinx. You can encourage coincidences to occur the way that you want. When you jinx a target, you roll plus weird. On a 10 plus, hold 2. Holding's odd because we'll get into it. It's carryover stuff.
Yeah, it's another one of those things that again, all those nitty-gritty bits and pieces of the rules, you're gonna have to check the rule book out yourself. We're giving you the high level.
Yep, we're going right over. Not right over. We're going as far as we can. After all of this.
Yeah, enough about the players.
Yes.
I think it's time for us to poke a little bit at the keeper now.
Because the keeper, this book takes you gently by the hand.
That's right.
And leads you forward into running the game.
Like I mentioned earlier, the intention of the game here is to create a level of drama and tension. And so that means the keeper's job here is incredibly important. It is crucial that this is built correctly in order for your game to succeed.
If you have a very bland mystery and the players sit down and you go, someone's poisoned the water. Well, okay. I guess you're gonna need a little bit. Sheriff Woody.
You're gonna need a little bit more pizzazz than that. And the beauty about that is that the book actually gives you on page 83 a step-by-step guide of how to create your first mystery. And there's loads of stuff in this book that is going to assist you, but essentially it's going to walk you through the specifics of how that mystery is created, all the inner workings of it, the little bits and pieces of like how to write the story in a way that's going to blend itself well into this game. And it's all intended to give the new keeper an understanding of what they have to bring to the table. Right. And so these, from page 83 on, this is really, really nice to outline the process, especially for first time GMs, but truthfully for anyone that's first time to Monster of the Week.
Yes. Because it, like you say, it lays everything out for you. Mm-hmm. After that, after the mystery creation, they do have monster creation.
Yep.
And this is on page 88. And like the mystery creation, this includes the instructions on how to create monsters step by step.
Yep.
As well as their minions.
That's right.
For little
pre-drama.
You've
got the big
drama.
bad and you've got the little bads.
Yeah. Because sometimes your big bad needs minions.
Yep.
Why not?
Yep.
There's also NPC creations in there.
They're called bystanders in this game.
Bystanders,
that's basically what they are.
Non-playable characters.
Non-playables, yeah. They're in the game, but the
That's
players aren't
right. We do have to cover mysteries for a hot second.
Yep.
Because mysteries have to have a countdown. They have to have a sequence of events that have to happen, and they're terrible things that are coming. Because if the monsters or if the hunters don't stop the monster's going to come and keep going through the town until everybody's done in that town. And then you're not going to have a town anymore.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, and that's on page 94.
That's on page 94.
All of the GM section here has all of this kind of stuff.
So the countdown is kind of like a ticking timer for the players to come up with a kind of a game plan about how they're going to come. First of all, how they're going to find out what monster it is, where this monster is, what its weaknesses are, and get down to it.
Yep.
Right.
And again, this blows it all out so that you do it step by step. If you work from the beginning of the keeper section down to the bottom, you will have a fully fleshed out adventure with all of the trimmings and be set up for rolling forward.
Yes. On page 98, there is a full rundown of what to expect from your first session. Mm-hmm. To ensure that you have a good understanding of what you got yourself into, including through your first session all the way up into the completion.
Yep.
Stringing arcs together, future sessions, and other sort of helpful information, such as how to further customize the game to your liking, hacking and doing things to make it more personable.
Make it your game. Absolutely.
That's right. Because we like our game.
Exactly. And last but not least, I mentioned a little bit earlier, but there's a lot of cool additions like the character sheets, the worksheets, the reference sheets, token frames. They're on the website. The link will be in the description, but it's evilhat.com/product/monster-of-the-. And so, I mean, these likely line up with the 2015 version of the game, but even if you're running the 2012, you could still use those sheets. You just might have to alter them.
Or not.
Or not. Yeah, you do you. It's your game, man. We're not here to gatekeep you. You do whatever you want.
No, you do whatever you want.
That's right.
There's no wrong way to play a game.
No, you just have
as long
fun.
As you're having fun.
That's what you got to do.
Right. Yeah, we're big proponents of fun here.
That's right. That's right.
And that's Monsters of the Week.
That's it. That's the game.
DG, what are your thoughts on this?
Honestly, I mean, this game would be a lot of fun to run, right? I mean, the keepers got a lot of work on their plate in order to make it work.
As all GMs do.
All GMs, but this one really feels heavy on the keeper, right? Because since the game is so heavy for the story and the mystery and the tension and all of that, it would be very wise for you to run through this book and follow the instructions that are laid out for you, right? All the games have a heavy lift for the DM, but this one really seems to have it there. I also think that because it encourages improvisation to move the game along and your character creation and all of the background, that stuff, again, we say this often, but it needs the right type of person to run this game and to play in it. So
your players definitely have to be invested in this game.
You're going to need a table of people who aren't shy about roleplay, because like we mentioned, this is not a run in and fight type of game. If your players like the combat heavy encounters, this might not be the game for you. The game's pretty much all theater of the mind. I guess you could theoretically use miniatures and a battle map for like the combat itself, but to be perfectly frank, you probably don't even need to do that. So it would be really easy to set it up and go. This particular version doesn't have a whole lot of art throughout the book, so it's likely just that. But I was a little disappointed that there wasn't more. I'd like to see some full page art of like visioning. I like to see
monsters.
I like to see what the creators see when they play their game. You know what I mean? And that's what I lean on the art for. I
would like to see the Scooby-Doo mobile.
That's right.
Mystery machine. Right?
Yes.
Everybody hanging out of it.
Exactly.
Going down the road.
I'm assuming it's because we've got an early version of the game. That's likely all it is. It's probably a lot more polished than the newer version of it, but it is what. All in all, I like this game. I think this one would be a lot of fun to break up sessions of D&D or fantasy. I really like fresh ideas, and so I'm in on this one. What about you, Finn? Where does this one land for you?
I like this game. Yep. I do.
Okay.
I like the freedom that the game gives the keeper to just roll with what the players want to do. So and that the players get to steer the game. The keeper goes, okay, here's the mystery you guys have to solve, and at the end of it, I have a monster for you, because that's what this is. Yep. Go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and they have certain points that they have to, tick off all along the way, but as far as how to get there, the players do all of that, and the players say, hey, I want to do this. Okay. Yeah. That's good. How are you going to do that? Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to do this. Well, that sounds more like you're doing this skill, right? So that I can make you roll for it. Okay. Sounds good. But if it's something that just anybody can do, you don't roll for it. It just happens, right? Driving a car, opening the door, right? Picking a lock. Everybody can do these kinds of things. It happens. They don't have to roll for it. I would say that it's the players steer the story more than any other the TTRPGs that we've covered, especially the big two.
Yes, yeah.
I'm looking at you, D&D and Pathfinder. I do like the flavor of this one. Mm-hmm. It feels very great for doing single session sit down episodes. Like you could sit down at the beginning, and by the end of a 3-4 hour session, you could be done quite easily. I would say if it went any longer, it would get long and drawn out. I feel very much like the shows that it's based off of. But as far as the artwork goes, the only artwork I really saw was in the character.
Yeah, the character playbooks had it. The cover page had it. Again,
it's not a lot.
Really early on, I think. I'm pretty positive that the 2015 version's probably more polished.
Probably.
I don't want to hold it against it. That's all I was saying. Is I was disappointed to see a lack of it here, but I understood because it was an early.
Yeah. All said and done, this is definitely one that's going into the bank.
It's going in there
to be pulled out later on in life.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Well, Finn, I guess that only leaves one thing left to do, and that is
the post-pod.
The post-pod. 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 Finny, the post-pod question of the episode. What is your, quote, I'll never do that again, quote, lesson as a player or a DM?
As a player, I'd like to say that I would never sit on the clearly cursed throne, but I would.
I'm going to gravitating towards it. I'm going to do that every time.
Yeah. I would. That's tough because I don't ever play with regrets.
Sure. That's fair.
I never regret a single thing that I do. I guess I would never, if my GM told me blatantly that there are no such and such in this world, and I went ahead and built a character that had a such and such, and then proceeded to get not punished for it, but something along that line. I wouldn't do that again.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Basically, the concept is you made a decision.
Follow the rules.
Yeah, and the DM's like, nah, that's not okay, and you're okay.
And
I get you.
I fudged it a little bit to get my thing in
fair.
there.
That's fair. That's fair.
That would be about the only thing I would never do.
Okay.
Again, because now that I sit on the other side of the screen a fair bit, I understand.
You're like, I get it.
I get it. I understand now.
Yep, I get it.
That was a young, wistful Finny that built that character.
100%. Yeah, I feel like the vast majority of folks are going to fall into that. That was my first and last time kind of moment.
Yep. What about you?
Yeah, I think for me, especially as a DM, the first thing that came to mind was providing the players an item with unchecked power. There's 2 times in my DMing career that I can think of that I've done this. One of which I created a die of empowerment, I called it, where essentially it was a D20 where the player would roll a D20 and something would happen and we would scratch off that item as the die was rolled. But there was items in there, like I think if you rolled a 20, you'd instantly destroy whatever you were trying to attack, for example. And it obliterated my big bad evil guy before I even got off the ground.
No.
The other one, funny, it's in the same line of thought. I can't remember, Finny, if you were in this game with me or not, but I was doing the adventure for D&D 4 called The Slaying Stone. I took it and I kind of made it my own thing, but essentially in this adventure you get an item. There's this prophesized item called the Slaying Stone that has the ability to basically do the same thing, vaporize whatever target it is that you point it at. And so I gave it 1 charge, but when the players met the dragon that had it in its hoard, they convinced the dragon to give up just that stone and none of the other treasure, and they succeeded on their roll. So I was like, okay, fine. The dragon hands it over. And the player, no joke, literally was like, okay, I take the Slaying Stone, turn it to the dragon and say, destroy, and poof, down goes the dragon, and the players rolled out with like endless amounts of treasure. So those kind of early DM mistakes, those are ones I'd never make again. I think if I was redoing the Slaying Stone, I would have probably put a caveat in there like the dragon's immune to its effects because it's hung around it or something.
It
like
requires attunement.
Yeah, I didn't give a whole lot of thought about what would happen when I gave this item to the players. I was more like, this is a cool item, we're putting it into the game. So that would likely be my I'll never do that again moment.
Yeah, but that's a good story.
It's a good story. It's just
that is something that the players at that table will always remember, right?
Yeah, it's just it hurts a lot as a DM when you look at your binder full of story that you created and you have to essentially turf the entirety of it because of a bad mistake that you made. So. That is it. That is all for episode 22. I want to thank each and every one of you for choosing this episode, downloading it, streaming it, however it is that it came into your possession. We do appreciate you for listening to it. We do this podcast every 2 weeks, and you can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. As well, we do a weekly Dungeons & Dragons game every single Sunday night at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can find that on twitch.tv/DGOnline or on youtube.com/@DadGamingOnline.
You can also email us at mastersofpenandpaper@gmail.com. Send us an email. Let us know what's going on at your table. Funny stories, just give us a little rundown of your campaign or whatever you're playing. Something for us to look at, another system maybe. We do also have a Discord server. There will be a link to that in the description as well. We've got some D&D tabletop RPG channel going there that's getting a little bit of gumption in it. Other than that, Thank you for listening in.
That's it. That's all. Thank you so much for listening. Episode 23 is the next one. Make sure to tune in for that. Until then, we'll see you next time.
Take care.